Aren't we all a big family? We are home, humanity.
Kindness is about community.
Kindness, friendly, considerate, generous. These seem to be natural human emotions.
Kindness is one of those things that you notice when it happens, and equally you notice when it doesn't happen.
Making sure that in various situations, through day to day, week by week, month by month in their lives, that they consider other people and how their own actions might affect other people.
Taking the time to see the human being in front of you, to connect, to understand their perspective, and to appreciate that and respond to them as a human being.
A behaviour, mostly, which is aiming to kind of benefit somebody else.
I think I used to think that kindness was the act of being selfless, which I still do believe, but I also think that now, with age, I've started to realise that there's also being kind to yourself.
First of all, understanding that we are all in the same boat. So it comes from an understanding for me.
Welcome to the Good Heart. We're a cafe and a community space in Frome in Somerset dedicated to kindness, or specifically to celebrating, practicing and exploring kindness. And we opened just over 5 years ago, but really started moving about 2 years ago after the pandemic. And we host all kinds of different events here. At the core is the cafe, which is open 6 days a week, and as well as generally affordable home-cooked food, we do pay-it-forward meals, currently about 14 a week, so hundreds in a year, and all our hot drinks are free of charge. 3 times a week we host something called Tiny Hearts, which is a free drop-in for under fives and their parents or carers. We have a group called Dying Matters once a week for people to come and talk about grief. All these things are completely free of charge. We have an online meditation group that meets 5 days a week and has done for 2.5 years, called Heart Space. In March 2022, we launched our first Kindness Festival, which is a highlight of the year for us because it enables us to reach many more people.
There's a field where the earth meets the sky, where you and I.
Since the beginning, we've been very keen to involve young people. We visit all the local schools, run workshops, do assemblies, and on average we reach about 2,000 young people through the schools each year, and we also run creative workshops for families.
Run deep, and as we cry, our healing hearts touch the sky.
Frome and kindness in Frome, and I think today's been an exceptional example of that. So yeah, Frome is the place to be. It seems to be the centre of the universe in many ways for all kinds of things, and kindness seems to be one of them. So big ups, big props to everyone involved with that, and well done to everyone involved with the Kindness Festival.
I think it's had a really big impact because I think people now expect there to be a kindness festival. Obviously it has to be funded, and that takes a lot of effort and time and energy from volunteers and people working together. But I think people are beginning to understand what it is, and that it's about not just being kind for a week, because that's not what it's about. It's generating the seeds of kindness and that ripple effect in the community. So it's people finding out how they can help.
I think the Kindness Festival had a pretty big impact on the people of Frome. The people who were involved, the volunteers, everybody who helped make it happen, I think it actually kind of brought a sense of community together that wasn't there before. So I know that a lot of the volunteers are now friends, which is really lovely. And it gave a lot of people a sense of purpose as well, of helping others. And overall, that has a great effect on people's mental health.
Without it being prominent in any kind of strategy or policy, it's certainly implicit, it is there, that Frome Town Council is a kindness council. But that's not to say that we are complacent and it just happens. I think that's something that we should take away as a council and actually state quite categorically and very, very importantly that we are a kindness council and that we're putting this into almost everything we do. And when people are coming to us, for example, for organisational funding or project funding in those kind of situations, it's good to hear how they see their organisation and their project impacting on people. And I would say in the majority of cases, that's part of kindness. That's what they're actually doing in supporting other groups within our community.
I think we invest by showing people how to be kind. I think we invest by creating a society and a structure where that becomes more of the norm and is supported to become more of the norm. And I think if we can invest in people appreciating each other as human beings, not seeing each other as objects to exploit or take advantage of, then all of us will feel the impact of that reciprocal kindness, and we'll see that we're creating a better society, better community, a better network around ourselves. Is going to feel like it's the right thing, and it will be the better thing if we can get people to focus on looking after each other, looking after our planet, and looking after the future that we all have as well.
If we want to really invest in kindness, then we need to start with a group of people who really understand what kindness is and what benefits it can bring to any community. I think that in Frome, we've seen that with a lot of things that have been happening here with the Kindness Festival and various other schemes that come up. But I think it has been there in the town for a long time. There are lots of people getting involved and coming up with new ideas. But to do it kindly in particular takes some work, I suppose, in understanding that actually the benefits of kindness will be huge. There is this ripple effect of, if you are kind to someone, or even if you witness a kind act, they say it makes you more likely to be kind. It ripples out. And I'd like to see us living in a town where kindness was the norm, rather than a sort of something to be sort of noticed, or something to be sort of said, well, that's unusual, I suppose. So I'd like it to be seen as the...
So I think kindness is something that needs to be relearned, certainly in our changing and modern and very different society. So many things are uncertain and unknown and also threatening. Kindness is an antidote for that. Kindness is a medicine that soothes anger, that soothes selfishness, and it's an invisible glue. What is so extraordinary is a very small thing, a very small act of kindness, opening a door, helping someone with a buggy for their children. It's so easy to be kind. And once you get that, it's a bug.
A good way to promote kindness is by showing kindness in the first place. So the kinder you are to people, the more acts of paying it forward we do, the more likely that person is to go on and show kindness to someone else that maybe they hadn't thought about before. And maybe it plants the seed. It plants the seed of how maybe you could make someone's day better. offering to carry someone shopping, complimenting their scarf, things like that. And small things like that can really lift people up.
I think sometimes just being alongside somebody is a kindness in itself. So there have been times when, personally I might have felt quite isolated or upset, and there wasn't necessarily a fix and something to do, but friends have been there. They haven't fixed it, but just knowing you're not doing something on your own makes a huge difference, doesn't it? And I think that feeling of being in a bigger place and being part of something can carry us through a lot of difficult times.
We do, we can choose whether it's going to be an open action that is potentially kind to somebody. Even just chatting to the person on the checkout and or even just acknowledging them. That's all it takes. There's somebody called Anne Morrissey who writes about looking at people with soft eyes, which I think is a lovely way of how we encounter each other, and rather than the sort of the hard eye that thinks the worst or doesn't even notice, but having soft eyes that are open to sort of that depth is a nice way of thinking about things.
You reap what you sow. So it's, I think, in the parent and toddler group, particularly Tiny Hearts, we've built up a real community. Although we've had like over 200 different sets of parents in, some who come every day, some who come like once every 3 months. What has really developed is like everybody looking out for one another. So people bringing clothes for other people and shoes and invite people round. And we have people from different cultures. A family who've just moved from Pakistan who don't know many people. They've been really welcomed, invited to go to other people's houses, which has been so nice. And I think people realise by doing things for others, it's bringing joy to themselves. And I think it's just dispelling the notion that kindness can only come from certain people. Everyone can be kind, and it can be the smallest thing, like this morning, a toddler having a tantrum and the parent feeling embarrassed. It's like, no, everybody's children do this. It's just, we can just help by listening and just being there, really.
So I have a toddler, and recently she was having some really big feelings on Catherine Hill, just behind us. And it was pretty noisy. She was having a bit of a meltdown, and I was struggling to get her in her pushchair. And one of the shopkeepers actually came out and helped me distract her and helped calm her down, which really helped me, because a lot of the time you feel quite embarrassed, and it was just a piece of kindness that I really needed in that moment.
With men, I think teaching men to be more generous and more kind is a very important thing, because wars are started by men. 10 years ago, I started a men's group because there were, I think at the time, 7 men's groups, but they were all full. So I just started my own, and it's been going ever since. There's between 5 and 8 of us. We meet every month, and we basically share the experience, the challenges, the joys, and we share aspects of being male. I think it has to do really in terms of working on ourselves with authenticity and honesty and keeping one's word and dealing with aspects of anger.
I hope people are motivated to be kind from a sense of sort of humanity and loving their neighbour, or kind of wanting to be social creatures, I suppose. But I know as well, personally, that sometimes it's about knowing that being kind makes you feel better. And so, it's not always kind of entirely selfless, but I think that's okay as well.
So everybody suffers. We make people suffer, even by accident. We make people we love suffer, which is a tough experience, but that we all know, because we are made a bit like this. So I feel like it's our responsibility toward everybody that's in the same human boat to be there for each other when we can, to understand that we all mess up,
it's just understanding that kindness is about your heart, and whatever moves you and makes you feel good, then that is doing you good and someone else good. So everyone can be kind, but obviously for some people it's more difficult because life is very hard. They might not have enough money to eat and heat their house, and they might have children with disabilities and domestic problems. So it's harder to be kind in those situations. But if we can help people just to understand the simple things that matter, then that's really good.
No, I think the opposite's often true. That when people are really struggling, that they often turn around and are able to be kind. Maybe it's that sense of vulnerability that enables you to be open to others, and to know what it is to receive kindness. So
I'd like to see kindness as a kind of radical, kind of revolutionary thing, saying actually the way that the world has been set up isn't working, and how can we sort of turn that around and try a different way, or a way that people have been talking about trying for more than 2,000 years, and actually look at how we can really make that happen.
One of the things I love about the Good Heart is that it's a 360-degree project about kindness. Our strategy is kindness, our method is kindness, and hopefully the outcome is kindness. And the idea is that everybody benefits. The people who are doing the organising, the people who volunteer, over 100 volunteers to date, the people who are receiving kindness, that we all have an opportunity to delve deeper into this extraordinary quality that can do so much to turn our individual and community lives around.
I think, being aware of kindness and not taking it for granted is important. So just taking a few moments each day to remember the things that people have done that have been kind to you, and taking a little bit of time to think about what you may have done yourself, and register that rather than rush through life not taking it in.
In setting up the Good Heart, I was primarily inspired by a quote from the Dalai Lama where he says, "My religion is kindness." And he went on to say, there's no need for temples, there's no need for complicated philosophy. Our own heart is the temple and the philosophy is kindness. And I think that's what we're really seeing down here in Frome. It was like lighting a touch paper. People are so inspired and drawn to this whole idea of expressing, sharing, exploring kindness together. It's something quite wonderful to see.
Lord, I think it's time to open the door.